What's up, Christ Center Mental Health community? This is me, David Lee Chu Sarche. I represent Christ Center Mental Health, the ministry where I talk about mental health awareness from Christian perspective in order to give you real hope in the name of Jesus to the glory of God the Father. Alright, before I get started on this video, I just have a quick announcement. Please check out the Christ Center Mental Health Ministry website. It's www.christcenteredmentalhealth.net. There you can have access to the On Faith and Mental Health blog. You can check out our statement of faith. You can find out how to contact me or someone on the ministry team for 24-hour peer support. You can find out how to support the ministry either by Patreon, Venmo, or Cash App. And you can check out the Christ Center Mental Health Ministry bookstore. Alright, as you can tell, the title of this video is What Does a Good and Bad Day with Schizoaffective Disorder Look Like for Me? And I'm kind of winging this video, so it's not scripted, so I'm just saying what a good and bad day looks like for me on off the top of my head. Pretty much, I'm going to start with the good day. I'm going to go into bad, then I'm going to discuss what the bad day looks like. The good day, a good day with schizoaffective disorder for me is my moods are essentially stable. Like, I'm not really having the ups and downs with my bipolar disorder or the bipolar portion of my mental illness. I'm pretty much like how can I say my mind isn't racing, so I can think more clearly. I think with more clarity. I appear to be not really lethargic and not really hyper. Um, I'm speaking in a normal tone of voice. Um, and I'm not really having any delusional thoughts. I'm not having any grandiose thoughts, and I'm being loving and affectionate towards my wife. I am I'm pretty much I'm pretty much behaving what people would call normal behavior. Now, I do still hear the voices on occasion, like specifically when I'm in church or sometimes when I'm reading the Bible or sometimes when someone's praying. But by far is not as much when the medication is working. Like I'm actually, and they're actually more tolerable. They kind of like the voices sound like very muffled, and like I heard one time it was said they're called breakthrough hallucinations, where they break through the medication, and but they sound very muffled and they're unclear for the most part. But yeah, so that's pretty much what a normal day looks like for me. Now, time to talk about the bad day. When I'm having a bad day, like when the medications aren't working, I'm hearing the voices more frequently. My thoughts are racing even faster. I don't really have complete thoughts. Like I'll think about something and then I'll switch to another thought, and then my talking is more sporadic. And I'm like, I'll be talking like a whole bunch. I'll jump from topic to topic, and I would, um, not really finish one conversation before I jump to the next conversation, and I'll start like tasks where I won't finish. I'll start writing something, and then I'll move on to another writing project, or I'll start doing the dishes and then I won't finish doing the dishes. I'll go on to watching a YouTube video, or I'll be talking to my wife, and the next thing you know, I'm talking to a friend of mine. Just stuff like that. I go from one activity to another in a span of like 10 minutes. Um, and then another thing, my lust will actually increase, and I'll be lusting like all the time, and then another thing, I'll struggle with impulsive decisions. Like it's very common with someone schizoaffective disorders to struggle with impulsive decisions. And what I mean by this is I'll start spending my money either on Amazon, or I'll make frequent trips to the local store, and I'll buy frivolous things that I really don't need, and I'll just buy them off of impulse. Like there's been times where I spent all my money in the bank account because I bought a bunch of books or something off of Amazon, and books that I either wasn't gonna read right then and there or that are on the shelf. That I mean, I intend to read all my books, but I have tons of books that I haven't read yet. So, um, yeah, and then I'm very impulsive. That's what a bad day looks for me. And I have and I also tend to have grandiose delusions. Like I'll think, like I've had delusions where I thought I was Antichrist, that I was biblically prophesied to harm Donald Trump, that Donald Trump was sending me secret messages in my head, stuff like that. So that's what a bad day with schizoaffective disorder looks like for me. Now, I will say this, if you're someone with schizoaffective disorder, it is very important for you to take your medication. Like you may think you're doing fine without your medication for now, and you may be doing fine for now. But the thing is, slowly your mental illness is progressively getting worse. And if you don't continue taking your medication, then you could end up either dead or in prison. If you don't think that that's true, like think again, because when you slip into a mania episode, you're not really aware of what you're doing, and you can end up doing something like running across the street and getting hit by a car, or getting into a fight with someone and they pull out a knife on you, or like stuff like that. Like you're not really aware of what you're doing, and that can lead to some dangerous things. So like literally taking your medication is a life and death situation. It could mean your life. So it is important for you to continue taking your medication your whole life, because by God's grace, He has given us psychiatrists and therapists for our good, and we can trust them to do a good job with us. So we don't need to, like, I know there's a bunch of naysayers out there that look down on psychiatry and psychology, but at the same time, don't listen to them, because they don't have your best interest in mind. Like you need to stay on your medication. You need to stay seeing your therapist, because they are the ones who are protecting you from harm. But yeah, and the thing is, you could take your medication and see your therapist and still trust God. There's some people that will say, "Oh, you like," they set up a false dichotomy. They'll say you either take your medication or you trust God. That's not true. You can do both. You could trust God and trust that God will provide you with the right medication to provide you with stable mental health. Um, like it's definitely a good thing that you're on your medication. Like it's like if it wasn't for my medication, I don't know where I'd be today. Like I would not be the stable person I am today. Like I've gone many years without medication and I just spiraled out of control. So I know from firsthand experience how important it is to take medication. Um, but yeah, it's definitely important. And some people think that psychiatry and psychology are anti biblical. There's a lot of stuff in psychology that is anti biblical, but there's a lot of stuff in psychology that is pro biblical. So you shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, it's definitely like just stay on your medication. Like I know it sucks to have to take medication every single day, but it's better than the alternative. Like if you as long as you take your medication every day on time every day, then you'll live a functional life and you'll do a whole lot better. Like actually by not taking your medication and trusting in God's sovereignly decreed means for treating your mental illness, you're actually living in sin because you're not trusting in God. So that's important. That's important to keep in mind. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. Like that's what a good day, a bad day looks like with someone with schizoaffective disorder, and I just wanted to end this on a positive note by telling you to take your medication. Don't listen to negative people trying to persuade you not to take your medication. Anyways, that's all I have to say. If you've been blessed by the Christ Center Mental Health Ministry, please consider supporting the ministry via Patreon, Venmo, or Cash App. If you support the ministry by one of those means, I'll send you some of my books for free. Um, but yeah, and make sure you check out the Christ Center Mental Health Ministry website. It's www.christcentermentalhealth.net. And please leave a like to this video, comment below, and share this video with a friend or family member. All right, have a good day. God bless you and stay strong in the Lord. All right, bye.